Dominic and your boy Ink. Welcome to another video. This one is such an important video for me to make. Oh, dude, I've been dreading making this video for so long. We're talking. So this is gonna go in the creating Ink Vendetta, but it's not true. Didn't create me. This is part of who I am as a human being. This was way before Ink Vendetta. This was way before the idea of YouTube came to life. So we're talking about Lord of the Ring today. Lord of the fucking Ring. As a child, I did mention on this channel that one of my main source of inspiration, one of my main series I cared for was Harry Potter. Harry Potter, yeah. And yeah. And it's true. There was another series though, and it was Lord of the Ring. Lord of the Ring completely shambled my life. So, a small side note. The really first series I care about was Harry Potter. Harry Potter, my father was really weird. He bought me the first four books, and I was reading them too fast. He's like, no. I want them to last, so I'll put like a time schedule. So you can read the first one now. You can read the second one in a month. You can read the third one in 3 months, and you can read the fourth one at the end of the year. Now I stopped giving a shit because it was too long. I still have a lot of love for. I'm sorry, during this video you're gonna see me look at my phone. There's an event right now, and I waited till last minutes or last seconds, more like it, and yeah, it's bad. So the main thing about that is my father. He had his girlfriend, and his girlfriend was really into reading, and his girlfriend was able to read the 4 books before me. The books belonged to me, but she was able to read it, so even as a kid, wasn't necessarily jealous, but I knew it wasn't right. I was like, dude, this is not cool. This is not cool. My father bought the 5th one, but then again, he was like, oh, I'm not seeing you read as much. No shit, Sherlock. You're not allowing me to read. It's like, I bought you the 5th. He didn't buy me the 6th or the 7th. I had to buy them on my own when I went into an apartment. And I kind of find them now because I think instead of buying them, I rented them. Right? Cheap ass ink. And yeah, so this was the first series I loved, but it was a series I gave up on. Now, my father is also the reason why these 3 movies are so important to me. My father, oh, these are bulky, dude. These are fucking bulky. You got so much here. You got the. I have to rewatch them soon. I have to rewatch them really soon. Oh my god, I'm so happy. I'm talking about this. It's one of my first love over here. They're in widescreen, which was. I'll talk about it later. During my grade school years, even during some of my high school years, the Lord of the Ring movie were out. So you can see this one was released in I'd have to check, but it was, I want to say 2021. No, 2001. Yeah, I want to say that. I was basically, yo, I got it. Okay, cool. So the last one was released in 2003. I started high school in 2005, right? I'm that old. So these were in my grade school. Now my father, thank God, knew I was afraid as a kid. He knew I had a lot of fears. He was like, no, I'm not gonna let you watch Lord of the Ring, because not only it's not really gory, but there's some pretty horrific makeup, right? And yeah, so thank God he did that, because when I did get to see them, I saw the 3 of them together. Now the 3 of them in a week. I swear to God, I have watched these 3 every single year since I was I want to say 14, but it might be 15. I'm 31. That's 16 times. That's 9 hours. That's around 135 hours, and this is not counting the cutscene, the deleted scene, the extras, because they all have extras. You can see here a lot of shit. I have to rewatch them. They're so great. The reason why this was such a hardcore movie for me was because I liked Harry Potter because it took me out. It took me out of this world that I was in. Lord of the Ring did the same thing, but Lord of the Ring was a super simple piece. I know I just said it was 9 hours, but at the core, Lord of the Ring was 3 movie, you're done. Now, I was too young, and it was too early. I have to blow my nose. I'll be right back. Lied. I was getting some water to my bubble tea. right? Right. So back to business. We have some Pillsbury cookie, not a sponsor, but could be. You thought I was gonna dip it in? You're crazy. Um, so basically, I was too young to give a shit. Um, and I didn't think there was more. I didn't know about the Hobbit. I didn't know about the Silmarillion. I thought this was a tree. So I was like, dude, not only is it super accessible, there's only three of them. Right away, watching this, I'm like, fuck, I love this. It was this universe. It was this complete universe explored in 9 hours. It was this complete lore explored in 9 hours. This was bigger than nature. The effects were crazy good. The movie was crazy good. Everything that I could ask for in a movie was there. And I'm going to be exploring the character, but first of all, what we're going to have to do is. I forgot where we were. To be quite honest, I had to upload a couple video to YouTube. So what we're gonna do is, before we continue, let me checking out all these three movies. The first one is The Fellowship of the Ring. Small recap. We found out the ring. The ring is a ring of power, supposed to control them all. The ring is the spirit reincarnation of the evil guy. Not spirit reincarnation, but the ring exists. E exists. E exists. It's like a Harry Potter, like Voldemort. There's 7 Horcrux. If you have the Horcrux, is alive. So we find the ring, we have to destroy it. We build up a friendship. We make a fellowship of humans, hobbits, and elves. Right. So it's super good movie. My least favorite of the three. There's just a lot of This is why I love Lord of the Ring. This one is not that great. The reason why this one is not that great is because it has to bring up the lore for the two others. Then we have the Two Towers. That's basically a movie where the group is separated. We spend the whole movie looking for help. We spend the whole movie looking for allies. And it's just super great. We meet Gollum, which again, Gollum is this. So the rings has the power to leave you immortal. The rings also has the power to corrupt your mind. Gollum is the proof of that. Gollum is immortal. He's been living a couple lifetime, and then he has been corrupted. So he looks at the ring. Gollum becomes the good guy. He becomes a guide, and he guides Frodo. But ultimately, why we love that movie is because we discover a lot. Like there's Faramir, which is the brother of one of those guys. There's the different faction, which is Gondor, Rohan. There's a lot of humor in that book. There's a lot of lore. We think that Aragorn is gonna be dead. We learn the truth. So basically, the main character in these books is Frodo, but a lot of people would argue that the main character is Aragorn. Aragorn is this real heir to the throne of the Middle Earth. Yeah, Middle Earth. Yeah, and basically, Aragorn has to find himself, be a leader, be a king, because he doesn't believe that he has the making of being a king, right? But that's in his head. So basically, what we're doing in this movie is we're finding out some lore. It's a really good movie because again, it's humor, but you figure out who's whom. Like the Rohan are their friends, the Gondor are their friends. We're figuring out a lot of the forces of the evil, which is Saruman, which is the I'd have to talk about the character. But basically, yeah, Saruman is the bad guy. You see people in the Rohan corrupting the mind of the king. We're seeing the evil forces grow up. We're hearing a lot of people have been moving. We're hearing that there's a lot of places that are really populated, but some of them that are not. And the places that are not populated have been used as a farming ground to farm for bad guys. And then we have The Return of the King. Return of the King is a great movie, but not so great. The Return of the King is great because there's a lot going on. Is the cessation of the thing. The problem with the Return of the King is in the Return of the King we have this battle. The movie is basically the entire battle, right? And the second one, there's a really good battle, which is the Battle of Helm Deeps, which is a really, really, really good battle. And the third one, we're seeing a battle, but there's constantly interruption. We're going back to Frodo and Sam. We're on their own journey to find out the ring. We're following Aragorn. Legolas, and Gimli. We're on their way because Aragorn is the Lord. He has a new army. They're fighting. You got Gandalf and Sam. No, not Sam. And Merry or Pippin. I don't remember. I think it's more I think it's Pippin. I think it's Pippin because Merry is the smarter one. And you see Pippin and Gandalf has to convince the Gondor to help because the Gondor is the main forces of good. They're just really selfish. And the problem here, again, we have to talk about the character, but Aragorn is part of the good guys. Aragorn is also the real ruler. Now in Gondor is the main kingdom of the Middle Earth. Aragorn is the rightful leader, so the leader there wants Aragorn to be dead because he's like it's like a person that stays in power while the others are not in powers, right? So we know that. For the character now, I know I'm speaking a lot fast, but I want to make this video as concise, as precise, and as cool as possible. So we have four. I'm gonna talk about the Fellowship. Personally, there's a couple main bad guy, but you don't need to know about them, except perhaps Saruman, which is basically the only bad guy that you care about. There's other bad guys, but they don't really count. Like the King of the Gondor. So it's another story. We got Frodon, which is the main character, the descendant, the grandson of Bilbo. Bilbo is the hero of the Hobbit saga. Sword of the Ring is the sequel to the Hobbit saga, right? You got Sam, which is this Frodon like gardener, becomes his best friend. Merry, Pippin, which are friends of the group. And it's funny because Merry and Pippin. It's really funny because Sam is a good guy. He's like the rock. But you got Merry and Pippin. Merry and Pippin were supposed to be the comedic duo of the Fellowship. Merry and Pippin are the funny guys. They're here. They're simply here. And that's J.R.R. Tolkien, the writer of the book, who is a fucking genius. He knew the story was going to be long. He knew the story was going to be dark. So he basically put in Merry and Pippin as comedic relief to alleviate the story, to make it less dark, right? You got Aragorn. Again, Aragorn is the descendant of the kings of the Gondor of the Middle Earth. But he's hiding. He's in love with an elf, but the elf are not accepting of him. You got Gandalf, which is basically a friend of Bilbo and a friend of Frodon. Gandalf is special. Gandalf is both part of the Hobbit and part of the Lord of the Rings saga. Gandalf is this magician. Saruman is also a magician, and it's kind of cool because Saruman is the main bad guy because he creates force. Saruman is the main bad guy because he's a good guy turned evil. Gandalf and him are part of the same order. Gandalf is what happened if you stay good, and Saruman is what happened when you become bad. Gandalf started the story as Gandalf the Grey. Gandalf the Grey is this wizard that kind of gave up on fighting, that kind of gave up on wizardry, and we have Saruman the White. Saruman the White is the exact same order as Gandalf, but he's more powerful, so they made him Saruman the White. Now Gandalf dies in the first one, he kind of dies, and come back at Gandalf the White. Now the reason why he come back at Gandalf the White is because the higher power, which is the Flame of Andor, which is basically the savior or the guardian of Middle Earth, they're like, yo, Saruman fucked up. We need you to take place, right? Then we have Legolas and Gimli. Legolas and Gimli are also the comedic duo, but they're a more powerful comedic duo. So Legolas and Gimli are the representative of every faction in the Middle Earth. I don't know why I'm calling it Land Between. I don't know why. Well, Land Between is from what? It's from Elden Ring. I don't know why. Yeah, well, Elden Ring was also part of J.R.R. Tolkien. J.R.R. Tolkien heavily inspired himself from Lord of the Ring. J.R.R. Tolkien created Game of Thrones. Right, so Merry and Pippin are supposed to be the comedic duo. Legolas and Gimli becomes part of the comedic duo because they start up at this rivalry. They're supposed to represent, Gimli is supposed to represent the dwarf, which is another race in Lord of the Ring. Legolas is supposed to represent the elves. So basically, you have way more race than that, but the elves and the dwarf are also main part of the good people. What is crazy cool is in the intro of the first movie, we have the story of Saruman, of Sauron, how he created ring to rule them all. We know of the rings of power giving to the humans, giving to the elf and the dwarf. So we're mentioned three races. They're the three of them are in the party. There's also a member of the party that dies pretty early on, but is really important, and that's Boromir. Boromir is basically the what shall I call it? Boromir is the son of the person that took place instead of Aragorn. Boromir is supposed to be this a super powerful human. So the story starts out with two humans in the there's three humans in the Fellowship of the Ring, right? There's four hobbits, three human, one elf, one what should I call it? One dwarf. Sorry. So Gandalf is a human, but he's considered more of a wizard than a human. So you know he's still human, but he's more of a wizard. There's two humans. There's Boromir and there's Aragorn. Boromir is the rightful leader. Is his father pride? He's actually a really good character. Boromir is infected by the ring at first as he sees it, but you can tell that Boromir is a solid guy. You can tell that Boromir is a good guy. There's a lot of moments in the story where he plays with the hobbits. He's fun, he's kind, he's caring. The reason why he's so even when he wants to grab the ring, he has good intent. He's like, yeah, I want to protect. You're gonna have to give me the ring because I'm the only one that can protect the earth, right? And it's funny because the main reason Boromir becomes an asshole is Aragorn. Aragorn by birth is supposed to be the ruler. Boromir is the son of the guy who had to take place, but Boromir, he's with Aragorn, and he's like, yo, this guy's the rightful heir. So in the beginning, Boromir represents leadership. Boromir represents the good of human, and Aragorn in the beginning is just this guy who has been on the out for too long. He doesn't care about who he is. He doesn't care about what he is. He just wants to be in love with Eowyn, which is the elf, right? He's like, fuck the rest of the plot. I want to be with her. Now, as the story goes on, Aragorn understands that it doesn't matter what he wants. He's gonna have to become the king. He's the only hope. So Boromir death, and it's crazy because if Boromir wasn't dead, Aragorn would have never had to step up. And Boromir sacrificed for a lot. It's like in the first book, I swear to God, we lose Gandalf and we lose Boromir. There's a really crazy theory that is shown here. So this is the Fellowship of the Ring. These are the 9 people again. 4 4 hobbits, 3 human, that's 7, 2 1 elf, 1 dwarf, that's 9. There are 9 Nazgul King. The 9 Nazgul Kings are the 9 hero of the story who have been giving the ring. Now, as I told you before, Sauron, who has a ring, he's like, oh, I'm gonna be. What happened to Black Eyed Peas? He's like, yo, I'm gonna control them. He controlled the human, right? And the human become the Nazgul. So that's basically the story. And the second one, what we're seeing is, again, I talked about that. So now that we established who's the character, what is the story, we can establish why this movie is so good. Well, first of all, it was revolutionary. There's a cool documentary that you get on the DVDs about Peter Jackson that basically filmed this series. And he's like, dude, I wanted to make this story, but it was too big. Everybody turned me back, except for Alliance Atlantis. So you might know them from Lara Croft, but they're mainly known for Lord of the Ring. And they were like, yo, we'll take you in. So he created 3 movies. Now, the greatest thing about those movies was they were all filmed. Dude, you have no idea how much I know about this. You have no ideas. And this is basically the extra stuff. So they created 3 films together. They filmed the scene from the 3 filmed together. They released a movie every single year. So 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004. Because we know the second one is 2003, right? So we know, oh, that's the last one. So 2001, 2002, 2003, yeah. It makes more sense. Right? And it's crazy because they released a movie not knowing if the movie were going to be a success or not. Right? There's part of the movie that everybody knows, like Aragorn, he broke a tooth, he broke a toe. There's a lot of good part. There's the fact that Gimli is now dead. Rest in peace, actor of Gimli. But yeah, so also it was such a big piece. It was such a major piece. So Lord of the Ring was this unsung hero of J.R.R. Tolkien, who is this unsung hero of writer for fantastic story, right? There's the Hobbit. And it's crazy because the Hobbit wasn't that popular. The Hobbit was the prequel of Lord of the Ring. It didn't get that popular. Lord of the Ring existed, and the Lord of the Ring movies came out like 2 decades or 1 decade after the writing. It was a very like not super popular book. It was very known though. It was a lot of people knew about Lord of the Ring. Why it was so important is because the emperor, the size of the project. This was one of the biggest project ever made, right? And it all has to do with Peter Jackson, and it all has to do with the fact that he had a vision, and he wanted that vision to happen. And when you look at it, it's kind of cool because I'm registering. Okay, cool. Um, it's kind of cool because again we're seeing that this was made over 3 years. It took 3 years of filming, right? So this was basically made in 98, 99, 2000. They released it 2001, 2002, 2003. There was also the fact that there is so much created. So Gollum, that I've talked to about in the second book, Gollum is Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis, you know him from Lord of the Ring, but also from Planet of the Ape. He plays Caesar. So they started putting this. This is one of the first movies to do it. They had this green screen and they put these motion sensor and they would recreate a character from this motion sensor. So you had the actor actually making the scene, you had the actor actually saying the text, but you had the actor like moving, and then it was reproduced. So if you look at the movies right now, I swear to God, they still look great. They still look absolutely phenomenal, and they're old as shit. They're more than 20 years old. If you look at it, it's really great. But it also creates something that not a lot of people know, and is the anarchy system. So it's amazing. Holy shit, it's really great. Anarchy system is so in the movie you see a lot of battles. A lot of battles mean a lot of people. A lot of people means a lot of cash. So to cut down the cost, what they did was the anarchy system. The anarchy system is you having a couple of people, right, on screen, and you're making a large group of people. Now this was something that was done in the a lot in the movie before. So you got one real person and you got one computer generated person. Now before those movie, if this was basically a clone. This was a mirror. You go left, it goes left. You go right, it goes right. What they did was the anarchist system is basically having some clones, but they have a mind of their own. So they're basically going this way, this way, this way, and it's really simple. What you do is you say, okay, well, whatever the previous clone did, you cannot do. Whatever the clone before that never did. So it becomes more possibility, and as you go on, there's not so much a possibility. So it there's a limit to the system, but it's still really great. It was very innovative. And if you look at Lord of the Ring, so Lord of the Ring took a large fucking break, like 10 years. The only thing that we got from Lord of the Ring was the Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, which is basically the story of a guy who crafted the ring for Sauron. Sauron never crafted the ring. He manipulated people into crafting the ring for him. We have the Stallion, which is the member of the Gondor. This is like, what if they didn't win, right? And we have Talion, which become become possessed, or he dies and he becomes reincarnated thanks to the power of Celebrimbor. Celebrimbor was the blacksmith behind the ring. Now Celebrimbor is a bad guy. He wants the power. He wants the power of the ring, right? And Talion, he just wants revenge because the orcs kill his wife and son. So in Talion's mind, he's like, fuck them. I don't care what happened. I want to kill them. Right? Battalion is a really good guy, and there's people he has to help and he decides to help. Celebrimbor is using Talion, or Talon, right? And it doesn't really matter what is the story because this is about the Lord of the Ring. Basically, the story, and even if I wanted to tell you, I couldn't tell you because I never finished Shadow of Mordor. Shadow of War. Shadow of War is this. Fun fact: Talion become one of the Nazgul, which is one of those guys, right? So he's a bad guy. So you know how it ends. So before that, we're gonna talk about the Nemesis system. The Nemesis system is one of the systems that was created, and it's a brilliant system. It's a really fucking brilliant system. It's one of the most impressive system in gaming that I know of. Nemesis system. So the Shadow of War, the best thing that happened is RNG or random. I'm gonna have to go to the toilet. Sorry. And we're back. Sorry about that. So yeah. So the anarchy, the Nemesis system is, whew, it's simply phenomenal. So Nemesis system is RNG created enemies. So the I want you guys to look at the game of Grand Theft Auto series. There's so much enemies, so much NPCs going on. So the NPCs in this game are enemy. They're gonna attack you. The reason why Shadow of War is so good, I'll tell you after. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So in these randomly created enemies, there's some captain. So Talion could die from anybody, and the second somebody dies, somebody kills you, they become because the okay. So Sauron, or the very idea of Sauron, is taking care of the Middle Earth. And he's like, yo, Talion is in my way. Fuck him. You know that Celebrimbor is helping you, and he wants to kill Celebrimbor. So you're basically enemy number one. And he's like, I don't care who you are. If you manage to kill Talion, I'll promote you. And the sole reason of those people to exist are the sole reason for those people to exist is to have greatness. So just to think about the again, we're talking about medieval saga. So medieval saga, chances are you were the son of a farmer. Chances are you wanted to be a soldier, a knight, a knight. And it's the same for the orcs. So if you kill Talion, it's like, oh, I'll get promoted. The Nemesis system is what really great is. You kill Talion and you get a promotion, right? But what is great about it, most of all, is you had a Nemesis. So Nemesis was a enemy, right? That was supposed to be stronger than every single enemies. And the greatest thing about this is that it didn't matter your save through, your playthrough, it was a different enemy. Right? So the Nemesis system introduced always a Nemesis, which is a creature that's stronger than you and attacks you. And it doesn't matter how many times you kill it, it'll come back. Doesn't matter how many times it kills you, it'll come back. But every single time that it kills you, it becomes stronger. It doesn't matter if it's becoming so strong that you cannot kill it. You can't. Why Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor are so great is because when you have the power to control, you can create your own army. And basically there's things like Lord. So there's Lord, they have Guardian, they have this whole pyramid of soldier, and that's the Lord. The Lord, he holds up a stronghold, and the stronghold is your main goal. So in Shadow of War, the reason I didn't finish it is because you have to destroy like 100 stronghold, and it takes a shit ton of time. Right? So basically what happened is in Shadow of Mordor, you control those creatures to attack the Lord, and that's basically why those stories is so great. Now back to the Lord of the Ring. The reason why we talk about Shadow of War is just to introduce the Nemesis system. They introduced two systems that was completely unheard of, completely genius. The sheer number of it's extra, because let's be honest, they did film together for 3 years. I don't know if you're good at math, but 3 years is more than 1,000 days, and they created more. So most of it was footage, but most of it was production behind the scene. So in these, you get the orchestra that creates it. You get the people talking about their character. There's a lot of great stuff on there. But yeah, the project, the sheer side of the project, the fact that Lord of the Ring is such a beloved thing. But we're back to me because this video is about your boys, truly. That thing was the very first series I cared about. That series was something I watched every time because it grew well. It grew like fine wine. Lord of the Ring is something that is immortal. And ultimately, what you want is something that is immortal. The Lord of the Ring true power, the Lord of the Ring true wonder, is that its story is fictional. My favorite movie ever is Fight Club. My favorite movie ever is V for Vendetta. Those two movies are great, but I understand there's a time and space where those movie subjects, since they're so close to reality, won't apply anymore. The society would have changed so much it wouldn't apply. In this one, society isn't a factor. It's all about a made-up reality. So it doesn't matter how much the climate change, it's still their own piece. And this movie brought me so much joy, so much happiness that I cannot say thank you enough. I can't say thank you guys enough, but not this. Such a masterpiece. Oh, fuck. Yeah. That's about it. That's the video. Know that I love you, that you matter. Peace.